What's up, guys? Pastor Nathan here again for another Wednesday walk in God's Word as we think about the Christian walk in the book of Ephesians. I'm joining you today from Torch Bay Nature Preserve, and I'm going to walk around here a little bit and then think with you about how as Christians we should walk in wisdom. So join me for this Wednesday walk in God's Word. We live in an age of distraction. In so many ways, it's never been easier to waste our time. We have smartphones, we have Netflix, we have YouTube, we have social media. It's so easy to distract ourselves from what we know we should be doing. And yet we all know that distraction is a danger we face. We know that we should be careful about how we're using our time. And Paul teaches us that here in Ephesians chapter 5. He teaches us that we should think carefully about how we're living. Listen to what he says in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of the time because the days are evil. Paul teaches us here that we should walk in wisdom, seizing every moment and every day to glorify God. He says, look carefully then how you walk. He teaches us here that we should live with intentionality. We should think about how we're living, because it's so easy to let life just wash over us like the waves of Lake Michigan. It's so easy to let life just come at us. We don't really take time to pause and think of what we're actually doing, how we're actually living. And so I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you to take some time to pause today or this week and to think about, how am I using my time? Am I using it the best way I can for God? We should, Paul says, live with intentionality by walking in wisdom, not walking as those who are foolish, who are unwise, but those who are wise. The Bible teaches us that wisdom begins with the fear of the Lord. The fear of the Lord, Proverbs tells us, is the beginning of wisdom, which means that the posture of wisdom is worship. It's loving God. It's obeying Him. It's submitting to the way He has designed the world, because He is the Creator. He is our King. And so we should walk in wisdom by living according to His design and creation, and as we find it in His Word. And so I want to challenge you to value wisdom. Work hard at gaining wisdom by listening to those who are older than you, by listening to creation and what God has put in place. Because even people who aren't Christians can grow in wisdom by looking at how God has made the world, even if they don't acknowledge Him. And yet, true wisdom always begins with the fear of the Lord. So if you want full wisdom, you must start by turning to God, by trusting in His Son, Jesus Christ, and living that way every day. And then learning from His Word, learning from other people, learning from how He has made the world to live in wisdom. And we live in wisdom by seizing every moment and every day to glorify God. There's a popular Latin phrase you may have heard before in movies or on coffee cups or in t-shirts. It's called carpe diem. Seize the day. Seize the day. And in many ways, this is how we should be living as Christians. We should seize the day. We should look at what opportunities we have in each day and live for God. Use them to live for God. And yet, implicit in the way the world uses this phrase carpe diem is that the days we have now are the best we're going to get. And so we should use them before we die. We should eat, drink, be merry, for tomorrow we die, as the phrase goes. And yet, as we just read in Ephesians, Paul says we make the best use of the time because the days are evil. We have to buy back. We have to seize the day. We have to take advantage of every opportunity because the days are evil. And we look forward to better days when Jesus will return and make all things new. And so we should be those who seize the day, use every opportunity for God and His glory. And since pop culture has brought us into the realm of Latin, I want to suggest a better Latin phrase for us to live by. It's the phrase coram Deo, that we should live in the presence of God, before God, recognizing that He is watching us, that He is King, He has the authority, and we should live for Him, rejoicing in Him, knowing Him, having a relationship with Him through His Son, Jesus. So how are you using your time? How have you used your time today, this week? How are you going to use your time the rest of this week? Take time to think about that. I want to encourage you to value wisdom, to seek it out from God's creation, from His Word, and from those who are older than you. That's one reason why as a church we need people of all age groups pouring into each other. You as a student need people who are older than you, your parents, and then also other older Christians who have walked with Jesus longer than you have. You need them to grow in wisdom. So build a relationship with a Christian who's older than you, who's a part of our church. Make it a priority to talk to the older Christians in our congregation during Sunday morning worship. Value wisdom. Be a person of God's Word. Live in the fear of the Lord. Walk in wisdom today by seizing every moment and every day for God, to live according to His design. Well, we've come to an end of this first series of Wednesday Walks in God's Word. As over the past 6 weeks, we've journeyed through the book of Ephesians and thought about how Paul uses this word walk as it relates to our lives as Christians. I hope you've been challenged and encouraged and helped by these videos. And I do hope to do more of them in the future. So if you have any ideas or any feedback, I'd love to hear from you. Well, thanks again for watching. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week.